Greetings from Bremond, Texas. My name is Lisa Miller, and I'm an art educator and artist. I live in a town so small that we don't have a Dairy Queen, so you can get the idea of the size. I moved here in 1996 from Austin, where I had been an artist and also worked for the Austin Public Library for many years. I'm first and foremost been an artist my entire life. I've worked in watercolor for most of my life, been mostly a painter. My studio is located in Bremond. It's in a 100-plus-year-old building that used to be Koch's grocery store, and I have original shelving that I store my art supplies on, and it's where I do workshops and classes. One of the last things I was doing was mother-daughter art dates, where I would have girls that were in about 8th grade come with their moms and do artwork together, which is really fun because that's an interesting age for mother-daughters to kind of rebond and get through those interesting teenage years. So it was a lot of fun. The demonstration that you're going to be seeing is from when I did a workshop for art teachers for the Texas Art Education Association. They have something called State Vase. And this is where art students from all over the state have competed in something called VASE, Visual Arts Scholastic Event. And these are the kids who are going to state. And they go to this competition with their teachers. And so the students are in workshops, and then the teachers are in workshops. And I was asked to do a workshop for the teachers on creative underpaintings with watercolor, and also I was introducing a new type of watercolor called core. And so this was kind of a double process that I was showing them how to use these core watercolors. They're made by Golden, and they don't fade when they dry, which was kind of an interesting thing about them. So this demonstration that I did showed the technique and the process that I use with my kids, and this is what I would always do with my Art 1 kids to get them used to using watercolor in a more creative and spontaneous way, because a lot of times when you have kids that are new to art, they think that it has to be photorealistic to be good. And so I like to start them off with this process because it gets them to be creative and spontaneous, and as I say, channel your inner 5-year-old. So these are demonstrations that I did using this technique with showing these teachers how to use this technique. The fun thing about it is I did have a teacher get back with me who uses with her kids and showed me some of the artwork that they did, and it was really wonderful. I have done this workshop for other art teacher groups, and again, when they share their students' artwork with me, it's very gratifying to see that it helps them, again, channel that inner 5-year-old and be playful and spontaneous, which is a big part of why I use this technique. I actually learned it from another artist and took it and tweaked it and kind of made it my own, and I use it for most of my watercolors that I do for me, that are just for, that I want to be creative with and loose and spontaneous. The painting behind me was actually done with the same technique. It's a full sheet watercolor. I'm currently working on artwork for an art show I'll be having in June of 2021 at the Georgetown Public Library. So after this video, I'm going to go get back to work and create some more paintings. And so I hope that you get something out of these videos. I hope that it inspires you to do your own artwork or share this with your students. If you have any questions or you need more information, my name is Lisa Miller. My studio is the Laughing Parrot Studio. I have a Facebook page under that name, and I also have a Instagram page under the Laughing Parrot Studio. I hope that you get inspired and channel your inner 5-year-old, and we'll do the same. Have fun. Thank you. I told the kids, and I showed them, I took probably 30 photographs of fish. The koi swimming, moving, focus, out of focus. And then I finally, this was the one I liked, the movement and the shapes. And so this is the drawing. And so I had this drawing, and now the nice thing is I tell the kids, look, when you're doing this as a living, for professional, you've got to be able to make lots of paintings. You've got to really create. And so I have this now, and so I can do multiple images with this. And so this was from the last class, and I took the blue twistable and I put them going like this. Now y'all are gonna get kind of my favorite. I kind of save this for fun. This is with the yellow twistable. So it's a little more fugitive. What's really fun, but it's hard to see, is the white. And that was really fun to do that with like a white acrylic.
And so for those of you who love your drawing, you don't want to lose it, you have it, it's there. And you also know where to save your whites and to put things in. So this is the process. Now, on paper, y'all are using Canson 140 pound, which is perfectly fine. I prefer and have used for probably nearly 40 years, Arches 140 pound cold press. I like the cold press, and the description on that is when they're pressing this paper, it's like if you use a hot iron, it's gonna smooth it out. If you use a cold iron, it's gonna be chunky. And I like the tooth, I like the little pits in it and the roughness, because then it holds that pigment and you get more interesting. If you want smooth washes, you need that hot press, because you don't have that resistance to the pigment as you're painting, okay? So this was the underpainting that I did the last group. And there is if you looked at your handout, there is a rite of passage that you go through. Let's just go ahead and move that out of the way. And then my setup, I've been using the same setup for a long time. These are Quiller, Stephen Quiller's. If you haven't seen Stephen Quiller for color theory, he's amazing. He's in Creed, Colorado. He has workshops in the summer. You get to go to Creed and you get to learn color theory. And mostly acrylic, amazing guy. He also does palettes, and this is his travel one. I like this a lot for personal use. These would be probably too expensive for a classroom set, but for you, just for fun, these are really nice. Okay, I like them too because they're set up in the color wheel. And that test swatch that I showed y'all earlier, that was for this combination of colors, the Quitachrome. On the tubes, when you buy the core, it's got the color on the front. I love when the kids read the different languages. They get a little, get to travel with their artwork. But it'll have on there light fastness, LF, and excellent. That means this will handle being in the direct sun a lot better than others. So you look at your light fastness. This is really excellent. This one has, it also has the Aquasol copyright. That means that Aquasol is that binder that they invented. So this is the stuff that won't get pale. This one I wanted to mention because this one actually has a warning on it. And this has got the US warning. It says a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer. And what I only use this with my advanced kids because by then they've got some sense and they know better than to eat their paint. The thing when I researched about this, it said don't spray it. This is not good to inhale. So with this one particular, you don't spray it. And also that's when somebody was eating earlier, and I had somebody eat a banana the last class. I said, when you're painting, don't eat. Go wash your hands when you paint. Just in common sense. Anything that you work with can be a problem. I tell the kids, if you drink a gallon of glue, you're gonna be sick. So anything can be toxic if you get enough of it. So you need to be careful and aware of what you're doing. Told the other class too, I was painting at my studio one hot summer, and in Texas you have your big glass of tea. So I'm painting away. I'm using cobalt blue, and I'm just painting away. Those squirrels are all just having too much fun being creative. And I go to drink my tea, and it's cobalt blue.
Oh no.
I've been cleaning my brush out in my tea.
Oh no.
So I tell the kids, you don't eat or drink in the art room, and you have covered, you keep your drinks away, and you kind of pay attention to what you're doing. You don't want to drink, cobalt blue would not be good to drink. So you just need to be safe, and I did research this, and this one you just don't want to spray with this or ingest it, okay? All right, so these are my 3 colors. I've got them set out. Now this is from the last time it got a little more messy, but I have my primaries on there. I've got some of my secondaries that I can mix up and get ready. You want your paints ready to go when you start on this. I tend to use my big flats for this. I have these over here if I need them. I'm gonna get those brushes out that y'all are using. Where'd they go? Do I have them, Jennifer? Where'd they go? Oh, there they go. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna use these guys, I kinda like these. All right, so I've got my brushes ready. Basically, you wanna be prepared to go on this when you get started. And you're gonna need to have 2 containers of water, one clean and one dirty. And then you have these sea sponges that you can buy, the bigger ones, and cut down. This is cut down into like 4ths, and so it'll work just fine. This is bath board. Y'all been working on this on your table. Does anybody know what that is?
Masonite. Masonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where you get it?
Home Depot.
Yeah, Home Depot, Lowe's. It's bath board. It's what they use for the walls of a bathroom. So when they're doing construction and building your bathroom, they will use this. This is one of the best secrets or tips I ever got. That with the little stencil thing, it's wonderful. Basically, I got sheets of it, and then my significant other, David, cut some down for me. He cut the class set down here. I have this side, then I have full sheet. And the beautiful thing about this is for storage, when you have drying racks, but then they dry like this. The beautiful thing with this is you dry and you stack them up with the boards on top, and this is the foot. This is how much room it takes up. and they stack up and they dry flat. So you don't have to tape the artwork down, you have to tape that watercolor paper down, you don't have to use like a cork board and staple it down. This works. This is really cool. This is a wonderful, wonderful invention. All right, so basically on the hand it says 1, 2, 3. You're basically going to massage the water in here. Now you can start to see that yellow when I added that. And you see the shine to it? This is a 140-pound cold press. And I can kind of see where my fish are now. Before it was a little harder to see them. And I'm getting a nice good amount of water in here. That's where y'all are gonna kind of have a little fun with those small spaces. Once I finish here, a couple folks could move over here if you'd like to. And so I'm gonna massage this really good. And this is a rite of passage in my Art 1 classroom. Everyone has to do this. Every one of you will have to do this rite of passage so that you can say that you've joined the watercolor group. All right, this is gonna be my dirty. That's where I'm gonna go back with the dirty. All right, so I'm gonna flip it. This is the first flip. Again, a little bit more water. And you want basically to saturate your paper. You will not be able to get any hard edges with this. This is just an underpainting. This is what y'all are gonna do. All right. And again, I tell the kids, you're just massaging that water in there. You wanna try to get as much as you can. And now I'm gonna start lifting the water. This is my third flip. 1, 2, 3, center it. And it's moving still. What you want is to get it to where the water is coming out from underneath it and it starts adhering to the board. So now you see I'm really pressing down. This is where if you used pencil and graphite, it would come off. And I've actually done it with that, and the thing is you gotta draw really dark because it comes off and it can get into your paint, it can get into your, definitely gets into your sponge. And so using the twistable of the resist is much better. Now I'm starting to lift up the water on the edges, and I'm also checking for air bubbles. So you can kind of tilt it to see if you have any air bubbles. I have one kind of right there. And it's still moving a little teeny bit, and this is where I build some suspense, which is kind of fun in the art room. It's moving a teeny bit, but I think I'm gonna be okay, but we'll find out if I did it right. Because what you do when you finish with the 3 flips and you get it pressed down really good, this is what you have to do for the rite of passage. You have to hold it over your head. And so it's so funny. I've been doing this 19 years, and so far I've never had anybody have a painting fall on their head, but today could be the day. We could find out. And what's so funny is the kids get so nervous. It's adorable. They're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I have the camera ready to take their picture, and it's like, it's their rite of passage in the art room. It's like when you're in Art 1, you have to go through the holding the painting over your head. So I would like for y'all to do that when we get through. You're gonna all be doing that. All right, then you're ready to start adding some paint on there. So like I said, I got those mixed up. This is now my dirt, yeah, that's my dirty. Okay, and I like using this guy. This is my favorite. Also, if y'all are in, you might want to scooch back a little bit. Okay, so this is another thing I do. It's a tradition for me. Just like I put my apron on, it means I'm going to work. When I start this, I always start off with this, and I sling some paint just to kind of break it up. And I don't even hardly look at it. I did kind of directional a little there. But this, the kids like go, really? We can do that? I'm like, heck yeah. Yeah, sling some paint. You got to clean it up, but you just sling away. And what's fun is then that kind of creates, it broke the space up. And then as my friend Carol Light, who's been doing this for a long time, she says, kill your corners. So I'm gonna do something over to my corners. That's a little darker, so I'm gonna lift that. And you just start pretending that you were 5 years old and play. But you need to remember that you wanna put 60% paint down, 40% paper. So you wanna save some whites. I really haven't found my fish yet. A little bit there. And then you need to get all your colors in that you want to use, all your mixtures, whatever you use in here, that's what you'll be using for the whole painting, okay? So I'm going to get some other colors on here, and that's kind of bothering me a little bit, okay? And this is also where, if you're being observed and your principal comes in, you have your kids telling you what to do. They're very impressed with that. So, okay, so I've got some reds on there. I'd actually like to get some of these greens. Like I said, the other one I had mixed up, ready to go. Okay. So I was kind of talking to the green and talking to that, and then we'll get some of that red. And play with your brush. It's like, don't just have it be I need a purple. Also, you do want some mud, so I want to kind of get a few darks in there and just kind of have fun with it. Also with this, I need to be able, ooh, look at that. That's kind of cool. So y'all tell me what I need to put. What do I need to put on there? What's it need? Blue. All right, definitely. And if I get low on that, I can get some more out because I don't have a lot of the pure blue do I? Ooh, that's kind of fun. But don't get precious about it. And also my fish, like I like that right there. So add some more of that. Yeah, it's going everywhere. It's too much fun. But I agree with you. I need some more of that. And see, these could turn into some kind of sea life or some kind of plants or something. And if it's too thick, you can also come back and lift some up. And that's what I call a thirsty brush. But you don't want to scrub at this stage. You want it just to kind of lay in there and do its thing. And so, but this one is bothering me a teeny bit. It's a little. This is a thirsty brush where I can kind of lay it in and lift up. But again, no scrubbing, absolutely no scrubbing. Ooh, that's kind of cool. And so now you have kind of your passage. And then we've got whites going here, whites going here. That's going to be, oh my gosh, that's going to be too much fun. All right. Now, where did you want me to put the blue? You said blue.
I did.
Where do you want it? Tell me where to put the brush. Down here?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so we're gonna actually do this kind of motion. Now, do you see how I've got a lot of paint on there? So I'm gonna try something that I got in trouble for in high school. I had a high school art teacher in Austin at McCallum High named Jorge Garza. Nicest man on the planet, very patient. And one day I was painting in his class and I was doing this. Banging it on the table. And I had no idea if I was disturbing anybody, being the child that I was. And Mr. Garza goes, "Miller, out of here!" He sent me across the hall to the ag shop where there was an air compression gun. So I took that air compression gun and put paint down. I did 25 paintings like that, and I sold every one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't tell that story to just all my classes because I got in trouble, but it was great. So, okay, so now I've got this blue here, but it needs to be talked to somewhere else, correct?
Yes.
So we need to maybe push it up in here because you want to have whatever it's going to be talking. Now, don't worry. Okay, so here's, okay, I do want to keep some of these whites. And the fish are going to be mostly white, so I can still see this one. It's a little harder to see with the yellow, and so that's still bothering me a little bit. You can also lift a little bit if it's too much, okay? So you can push and pull. Now, this red needs to talk down here, correct? And so you're analyzing this as you go, and believe me, your principals will love this higher order stuff that you got going on. Okay, so now that's talking to that. You got No, over here. And I tell the kids the decisions and the thought processes that I'm going through. Okay, I need some more movement. Okay, now you also need to stop before you're done. That's very, very important. And so I can't see all of my fish in here, so I think what I'm gonna do, because on the other one with the blue I can see it a lot better, I'm actually gonna kind of do some of this and kind of mix some of the paint on here, but not all of it, because I want to save over here around the eye. So now I'm getting a little more, do you see I'm blending that a little bit? And now I can actually see my fish a little bit better. And then on this one, I'm really having some trouble seeing him. But as it dries, it will actually kind of pick it up a little bit. So we're gonna have the whites down here. I'm leaving that alone. I'm getting a little precious about it, yeah, I am. And then on that. Okay. Now this is how the frog started. The frog started with the yellow. And see, so now I can kind of see it. And as it dries, you'll be able to see it a whole lot better, okay? So I'm gonna let that dry, but the last thing that you need to do, there's one last thing you need to do, and this is very important for the kids before we start stacking them up. This is about 7 minutes before the bell, okay? You take your paper towel, and you need to clean your edges, because if you don't, as the paper dries, it will start pulling in this other pigment, and it will cause a bloom, which is really ugly. If you've ever seen that watercolor, it causes a bloom, and it looks really, you don't want that. So you very gently lift your paper, and you just clean off the edges. And you go a little bit underneath so that it doesn't leak back out. And then you just lift these edges and clean those off really good with paper towels. And then you start stacking these up, and they dry very, very flat. This is wonderful. Okay, so I think, Jennifer, check our time, because I'd like for everybody to do this and to do this right. Okay, so I think when I paint this, I'm gonna pull some more, I love the browns in there, that's gonna be fun. It needs some more yellow. I may add a little more yellow while y'all are working. But this is gonna be, both of these are ready for me to finish. And the thing is, I use the same pigment on both of them, so they could be companion pieces.